Okay, go.
Hi, Caitlin.
Hello.
How you doing?
Doing a little better.
A little better? How's your week been so far?
Hasn't been too bad. I only overslept once for work this week, which is it's like a record for me.
Yeah.
So that's good. I've been getting up on time more often.
So where are you at now in your treatment? Kind of refresh me.
Well, I've gone through some detox, and I'm pretty much all done with that. Although I still really like my wine, and I don't want it to go away. But I've almost done with a detox program, and that's where I'm at.
So are you still drinking your wine?
Sometimes here and there.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
What are some of the benefits that you're finding of drinking wine? What do you like about it?
I think I had just such a high, love for the flavor and the craftsmanship of it. I have friends that live on the West Coast and other areas where, wineries are popular. So I've gone to wineries with them, and it's just, it's really like an art and such a project to ferment this wine and make it. It's really good, knowing all the work that goes into it.
So for you, it's like you said, it's an art, and you enjoy the taste and the flavors and different things. What else do you like about drinking wine?
I mean, aside from the, I guess, prestigious way of looking at it, it also has been very, relaxing for me if I come home from a long day of work. It helps me, just kind of chill out and relax because, work can be stressful.
So it helps you with your stress. It kind of lowers that down for you. So you're finding, like, when you come up from work, if your stress is really high, you drink some wine and life doesn't seem so bad.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Is there anything else that you think of that are kind of positives drinking wine?
I guess too, it also helps me go to sleep later when I go to sleep, but that's what wine does. But like I talked about before, I'd usually have friends over, and it was very much a social gathering. So it was almost something that, we could bond over. Maybe some of my friends didn't always drink when we were together, but it sometimes seemed to bring us together, even though I was kind of pulling some of my friends away, them getting mad at me for drinking all the time.
So you talked about a couple of positives for you so far. Because a lot of times in treatment, when we're talking to you guys about about your alcohol drinking, a lot of times those negatives are bringing up why you shouldn't be drinking anymore. But I wanted to kind of talk a little bit first before we get into that session of what are some of the positives and what do you like about it?
Yeah. Oh, God.
So it sounds like that you do like it somewhat. You're getting some benefits from drinking wine, but it's your relaxation. It helps you sleep, and it sounds like it helps you connect with your socially with your friends. It's like a connector for you guys, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, I appreciate the art behind it. So yeah, those are big good things out of it.
Yeah. And then even kind of transferring gears a little bit, can you think of any negative time drinking wine?
Well, it really gets my parents down my back, but because I know they were always very worried about that, and some of my friends too. But I guess sometimes I would get like headaches and sick, being hungover, and start to feel not too happy if I haven't had my normal bottle of wine by the end of the night. And I guess being to work late isn't a good thing. I was raised to have a very good work ethic and work really hard, and always, if you're on time, you're late. If you're early, you're on time. I always kind of raised that way. So I guess it probably is out of character for me to be late to work, and not just that. It's if I'm late to work too often, like I could get fired, even though I'm a good worker. But punctuality is important.
To You're talking about a couple of things, you know. It sounds like there are some negatives to drinking wine.
I guess.
You know, your family's been telling you about it. It sounds like your family is really worried about you. And, you know, it's affecting different areas of your life, you know. Like your friends are starting to worry about you. Your family's starting to worry about you. And, you know, starting to affect your work performance.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we talked in the other session about kind of like your story, you know, and when you first started drinking, and when was your last drink, right?
Yeah.
And kind of at what point did it go from that art that you love so much to kind of a need, right?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to say when that happened. I mean, I guess when I started working my, you know, big girl job after college, that, you know, it was a different thing than being in college and working part-time. So, you know, I guess maybe started to drink a little more because it was weird, you know? I don't know.
So it sounds like, you know, you were maybe stressed at that job? Maybe life changes?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could call it a life change. I've been used to going to school almost my entire life at this point. You know, you start when you're like this big, and then you go through high school and college, and now I've, you know, been working and graduated for like a couple of years, so it hasn't been very long, but yeah, that was a weird change for me.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's definitely a weird change, though. Were you used to being with like your family?
Well, my family, I did spend, you know, an adequate amount of time with them. We've always been close. But and they lived close by to the college I attended. But I decided once I got to a certain age and saved up some money that I wanted to move out into an apartment close to the campus. I had a lot of friends who lived on campus. I was involved in like organizations, like always busy, and I was always on campus. You know, I always had my hands involved in some kind of organization or project or something on campus. So it was easier for me to live close to campus, but you know, I was still close to my family. I still had like close relations with them as well.
Yeah. So, you know, it sounds like that was your comfort zone for a while. You know, you knew what to expect.
Yes, definitely.
And then when you're thrown in the real world, sometimes it's like this roller coaster that you can't control. Did you find that?
I guess. I mean, I thought it would be a lot easier to control, I guess, if you want to look at it that way, because I was only going to be working like, you know, 40 hours a week probably, and just, you know, I wouldn't have like all the homework and projects, and, you know, I wouldn't have all those organizations I was involved in. You know, it stinks, I kind of missed them, but, you know, I thought life would be a little easier having some more downtime for myself.
And is it?
Not really. It's, you know, I really enjoyed being involved in a lot of things, so it's weird not. I enjoy some nights off, but some nights I wish I had, you know, something else to do.
So it sounds like that boredom is kind of a trigger for you.
I guess. I mean, that's a good way of looking at it. I never thought of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think your life would be like without drinking alcohol?
Oh, I'd definitely be on time to work. I'd probably be early to work every day. So, I mean, I guess that's one big thing. I'd probably, you know, perform a lot better at my job, be a little more awake, not so drowsy. I know I'm still a good worker, but I'd probably be a lot more focused. I don't know what else would be different. I mean, I'm sure I'd save a lot of money not buying wine as often as I do, and could maybe go buy myself a nice fancy Coach purse or something.
So it sounds like there's some positives to sobriety for you. You know, being on time for work. Maybe your family and friends will get on your back a little.
True.
Bit, you know, when you look at the positives compared to like the negatives and what you can get from not drinking, what do you see more of?
Well, I don't know. know, I guess, the good stuff would outweigh the bad stuff if I stopped drinking, because I mean, again, working is very important to me, but it's just that bored time I have. I don't know what to do with it. Like, I don't know if I should find another job and work a lot more, or find something else to do. So I don't know. That's tough for me, because I got all this extra time and I don't know what to do with it.
So that's part of what we're going to talk about today.
Okay.
Okay. So what I thought we would talk about a little bit is, how do you say goodbye?
Goodbye to what?
To wine.
Do I have to say goodbye to all of it? Like, am I allowed to have some now and then at dinner?
What do you think?
Well, I don't think it'd be bad to have a glass now and then, because I mean, I do appreciate the art of wine.
So where do you, like, let's roll with that for a minute. So
Okay.
say, you're like, oh, I'm done with detox, I'm done with residential, and IOP, okay, I can have a glass of wine, at dinner. Where do you see it going from there?
Well, I think if I was smart enough, that I would just let myself have one glass of wine and call it a day. I mean, it wouldn't be every day at dinner. Like, if I went out to a nice dinner with my family or friends, and that's, kind of how I started really appreciating wine is, I would get a nice wine that paired well with the dinner I was going to order. Kind of bring out that flavor. So that's, a thing that I like to do.
So, in your mind, you're thinking that you can't have a drink or two and nothing will happen? Or won't go any further?
Yeah, I mean, I think if I really want to just get back to that, appreciation of the art of winemaking, that I could.
So it's interesting, because on one hand, I'm not saying you're right or wrong by any means, but on one hand, you're talking about, well, completely being, sober from alcohol is going to bring all these positives to your life, being on time for work, and, getting your family off your back, and really improving your quality of life in a way. And on the other hand, you're like, well, I can go back to that and drink one or two, and it'll be okay.
Yeah. So I guess that sounds silly, huh?
No, I wouldn't say silly.
Okay. Just kind of opposite of each other.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, I know it's hard for me to want to totally give up wine, but I guess I'll try to keep that in mind, that that's what we're aiming for.
It's hard. Absolutely. And so what we're going to talk about today a little bit is, and I'll give this to you to take with you on how do you write your goodbye letter. But I thought we would talk a little bit in session about it, if that's okay with you.
Okay, that's fine.
So when you think about your goodbye letter, your goodbye to addiction, to alcohol, what are you going to miss about drinking alcohol?
Well, wine was really the only thing I drank, because I didn't really like a lot of the other stuff. What I'll miss? I don't know. There was, I had a couple of my favorite wines, and like what wineries they were from that were my favorite. And they were just, they're more expensive, so I've only bought those, every couple months. Maybe around like the holidays to kind of, celebrate another year or treat myself a little bit. But they had really good flavors, and they were just really, really good. And they came from, wineries that were family owned and had like, a really good base. So I've also felt like, I was supporting this smaller winery as compared to like a huge company.
So, it sounds like, you wanted it to support the little man, but, you mentioned several times so far about the art of it, right? So it sounds like that art is something that you're going to miss.
Yeah, because, I spent time at some wineries before, like I mentioned, and a lot of them were small family wineries, and, there's a lot of work and time and effort that goes into it. So I guess I support their work ethic because it reminds me of mine.
Do you think that you can still appreciate the art without actually drinking it?
Probably. I don't know. I think it'd be cool to still visit wineries. You can still visit them without drinking the wine, because they also are very beautiful and in a very nice area whenever you visit them. So.
So what's something that you won't miss about wine?
Oh, I guess sometimes having those hangover headaches and also, spending a lot of money during the week. I mean, I wouldn't ever buy like super expensive wine when I wanted to drink, and sometimes I'd buy that box wine that was really cheap.
You were buying it every day, right?
Yeah, just about. Or sometimes I'd stock up for a couple days. Yeah. But I mean, it was a lot of money, and I'm sure that adds up very, very quickly. So I guess that's the biggest thing the two biggest things, especially the money that it won't miss.
So it's not, so maybe you'll have more money.
Yes, and then maybe I can go on an awesome vacation or buy myself.
Nice tropical?
Yes, buy myself cool shoes. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Sounds like there's a lot of opportunities for you.
Yeah, because I mean, I do make pretty good money at my job, but I do spend a lot of it on the wine, so I can't actually really save a lot. I really want to save money, but I can't always. So.
What are parts that you resent? Like if alcohol was like a person beside you, okay, and you can tell it like what you resent about it, what
I resent. I guess, I mean, I resent wasting all this money on it and then kind of the next day feeling like crap and messing up at work.
Okay.
So I guess that'd be the biggest thing and only big thing I can think of.
So like the big thing for you is money.
I work hard for my money. And I do believe I could treat myself with wine, but I think I just spent a little too much money on all the wines.
What are you angry with alcohol about?
Angry with alcohol, oh gosh. I mean, I guess I got angry at what it did to my body physically too. I know I've been talking a lot about the money and I am angry at that, but I think my body too, because I did start to notice myself getting sick sometimes, like I said, when I didn't have that wine at the end of the night, or sometimes having that hangover headache the next day. Not always, but physically it didn't help me and it didn't allow me to perform well. And I like having good physical health, and I think that it kind of discouraged me from having good physical health, and that's something that's been important to me too.
It sounds like maybe what you meant for her to do is really help you with.
Yeah.
Like you wanted to be in physical health, and something you took that away, and it sounds like, well, I want to save money, but yet you're spending it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Seems like a lot of contradictions.
Yeah. I guess you could say.
What, if you can finish the statement of all I ever wanted was a reference to alcohol, what is that?
Has to be just one word, or can it be like a little phrase?
It could be a phrase.
Okay. Let's see, all I ever wanted with alcohol, well, I guess I could just say wine, because it really was just wine. So all I ever wanted with wine, I don't know, it was just to try, new things. I think, like I said before, it started out as, me going out to eat with family or friends now and then, and I kind of got introduced to how wine pairs well with good foods, and it really does enhance it. And I wouldn't drink that frequently. I mean, I drank it too when I was an adolescent, but I think that was just for fun, and we thought it was goofy because, oh my gosh, our parents thought we were doing it. But, I think I just wanted to really appreciate it and what it does and try the new things, because there's so many different types and from so many different, like wineries and stuff out there that I think it was just really cool to try, and I like to try new things and broaden my horizons. So I think I intended it to be a exploration type of thing.
And it's interesting because, in the section so far, you keep on talking about the art of alcohol, the art of alcohol, and just different benefits maybe of expressing that art with it. Do you think alcohol is a problem for you?
I mean, I didn't think the wine was a problem until, my parents and friends started pointing it out, and I was, not performing as well at work, because I think, like I said before, I think it is a very interesting working process, how it's made and how these, families have their own wineries, and, how it's intended to be enjoyed with dinner to enhance it. So I think in the beginning, no, because it was just kind of like, a thing I didn't do frequently, like maybe every other week. I would go out to dinner and have like 1 glass of wine, maybe 2 tops. But that was every other week, you know, for a long time, and I didn't really.
But then at some point that changed, right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess too, you know, in college you tend to drink a lot more too with friends on weekends, and so I didn't think that was weird either. But after I graduated, I guess I just wanted to. I tried to go back to just doing that dinner now and then, but then I started seeing that I was on my own and I can just go buy all this wine.
So there was maybe you had more accountability before that was missing.
Maybe.
You could buy it more.
Yeah, I guess.
So, you know, before you were saying, like, when you were first in college and first in adolescence, you know, it wasn't something that you did all the time. But I remembered in your intake session you were talking about alcohol, and it seemed to be something that you were doing daily, and
definitely over the past couple of years.
Yeah, and you were starting to get sick when you weren't drinking.
Yes. That sounds right.
Yeah. So if you could say, like, just goodbye wine.
Oh, goodbye wine. I mean, goodbye. Do I have to be sentimental?
No.
What do I have to say? Do I just say goodbye, or?
You tell me. This is your goodbye.
I guess I would just say goodbye.
Okay.
Thanks for the artistic part of it, but I won't miss the feeling of sickness and losing extra money.
Mm-hmm.
So goodbye.
How does that feel to say out loud?
Weird. Just because I do, like I keep saying, I keep reiterating how much I appreciate the hard work put into making it, this art form behind it, because I truly think it is an art. But I think saying that statement, that little goodbye, kind of made me realize that there are negative things to it that I didn't really think of regularly because I didn't really care.
Yeah. And even, you know, you were saying about the art. Do you like art?
I do. I grew up, you know, enjoying that kind of stuff, like reading, writing, music, and I danced my whole life.
Do you draw?
Yeah, I'm not very good, but I do like to do crafty drawing things.
Okay.
Like
Because, you know, because what you're talking about, it kind of just reminds me of, like, different, like, Disney movies, you know? Like Frozen. I love Frozen.
That's a good movie.
Yes. Gotta say, my dog has, like, this little, like, Frozen blanket, and he, like, loves it.
That's cool.
But,
the therapy dog?
yes, the therapy dog. Therapy dog loves his little blanket. But, you know, if you're thinking about Olaf in Frozen and how he has his that snow cloud in summer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I remember.
And he's like, this is the best day of my life. You know, quite possibly the last. But then, you know, it's like that little snow cloud on his head, and he can live his dream. So it sounds like that's kind of like your view of your relationship with the artistic aspect, right? That you really enjoy the art aspect of wine, but it's kind of hard for you to get there. So it sounds like we need to collaborate and help you find your own cloud of how do you cope with that? How do you find art still without drinking?
Find a new art form. Oh boy.
Yeah.
I guess I'll have to start searching around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, so far in this session, and just kind of summarizing it up, we kind of talked about different aspects of wine, right? The benefits and the positives, what you like about it, and some of the negatives, with stuff that you really like about it. And you're kind of talking about how some of those negatives outweigh the positives. And it sounds like it was really starting to affect your quality of life.
Yeah.
So,
I guess here and there it was. I mean, it really sucks being late for work and your boss getting mad at you.
yeah.
But yeah, not
Yeah.
good.
And you said goodbye. And that's a huge step.
Yeah, it was weird.
Weird?
Probably gonna feel weird.
Yeah.
Just weird.
It is weird.
I spent a lot of time liking wine.
I encourage you to, like, over the next week, like, don't try to, like, fix the feeling, don't try to rush through it. You know, we talked about feelings in a couple other sessions before. And, you know, just feeling the feeling, and kind of like comparing it to a wave. You know, you're not trying to get rid of it, you're just letting it be.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to think of it. Well, what can I do between now and the next session to not be too upset about saying goodbye?
I think you know, like we talked about, it's just you might be upset for a while, right? It might be weird, and that's okay. You know, it's okay to be upset. It's okay for it to feel weird, right?
Yes.
And I encourage you to, you know, for next week, look over your papers on emotions that we covered last time.
Okay.
And, you know, have you tried any of those coping skills that we learned in emotional regulation group?
Yes, I've tried to use some of them.
Yeah. Did they work out for you?
Yes, they seem to help a little bit.
Good. Well, I encourage you to, you know, first feel those feelings, right? You feel
Yes.
like different, like feeling weird, upset. But really feel them, because when you were talking about drinking wine, you weren't feeling your feelings very much.
Yeah.
So it's important to learn now how to feel them,
Yeah.
and then even try some water.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Just remember to, you know, you're thinking and processing. Okay, Caitlin, well, it's very nice to see you. And I will see you for next session.
All right. Sounds good. Goodbye.